I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned.
What's up, guys? This is episode 54. It's a quick one. We give you some tips. Liz, what are some things people can take away from this episode?
Look, whether this is for the holidays or just cooking in general, we're all cooking way more than ever before, and the holidays can have a particular pressure about them that can make it a little bit stressful. So we wanted to really just give you 10 simple, practical, super helpful tips for stress-free holiday cooking. What do you think? Do you think people are going to like this episode?
People are going to love it.
It's going to be good. And we would love your feedback. So if you want more episodes like this, just let us know. Enjoy.
Taking the heights like Andes, man, one step to me, couldn't get the best of me, couldn't beat the rest of me, check one way, touch the brakes and go slow.
What's up, everybody? Episode 54. This is a good one because we're heading into a delicious time of year, the holidays. So today's episode is all about stress-free holiday cooking. Are you hype?
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
So, is Thanksgiving your favorite holiday?
I do enjoy Thanksgiving, but I have to admit, it's a lot of work now that I host and do most of the cooking. And, I love it, though, compared to Christmas. With little kids, there's a lot of, secretly wrapping gifts when they're not around. You have to stay up really late the night before. So it's a lot more pressure and stress. And also, it's, super commercialized. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, Thanksgiving, it's all about the food, maybe a glass of wine, friends and family.
And that makes so much sense, knowing you, why you prefer Thanksgiving than Christmas.
Why, Vince? What is it about me?
The family and friends thing.
Oh, yeah.
Harmony is a big driver.
And it's just about the food. No one has to go get gifts before they come over.
Yeah.
Is Christmas your fave?
That's a good question.
Or is it St. Patrick's Day?
Not St. Patrick's Day, I'll tell you that.
I know you never miss
my favorite holiday is my birthday.
Facts.
Hey, it's like that one. No, I like all the holidays, to be honest. I don't know. I never really
I love Christmas too, and for a Jewish woman, that's saying a lot. Yeah. But I just think Thanksgiving is a little bit more. It's a little bit more relaxed than Christmas.
Thanksgiving is always interesting because there's a lot of food.
Right.
So is Christmas, but I never really got a lot of presents as a kid during Christmas.
Really?
So it was kind of another day.
Every year we're gonna tone it down this year. It's gonna be real laid back, and then it's 8,000 gifts under the tree by accident because my husband loves to online shop for the kids. So, anyways, let's talk a bit about. So today's episode is 10, maybe more, stress-free tips to holiday cooking, and here's why we wanted to talk about this. Well, this year probably looks a little differently for many people, and Thanksgiving typically is larger groups of people, extended family, friends. Growing up, we would have 30 plus people. Friends would just be stopping in and out. And I know this year a lot of people aren't able to travel across the country to see family. Maybe they have older relatives that they don't feel comfortable exposing them to the virus by accident, or, I think that it's just going to look a little bit different and probably a bit more intimate, which as a mom of young children means there's probably going to be a lot of parents doing all of the cooking for the holiday as opposed to bringing one side dish to a group where it's more of a potluck style Thanksgiving. So we thought we could share a few tips for making it easier. What do you think about it?
Yeah, busy times. I think this is just a good topic for even after the pandemic. I think a lot of people don't cook for Thanksgiving because they're worried about the workload. So
it's intimidating, and they're trying to live up to all those expectations of childhood, and how you have those memories. And you just want it to you want everyone's memory. You want it's a lot of pressure to not let Sally down with the green bean casserole.
Yeah, and most of y'all can't cook, so we'll be honest here.
Pretty assumptive about our listeners here.
So we're gonna give you some tips to help make your process easier. So
right,
Liz, what's the first thing on the list?
First thing on the list is, ready for it? Make a list. Here's the thing. I do a lot of entertaining, and regardless of if it's 5 people or 30, a list is super important, especially with a meal like Thanksgiving, where no matter how you look at it, or no matter what, in general, you're making a lot more dishes for a single meal than any other meal, right? So a list, I would start a week before, write the menu. Just type out the menu, and if you're using recipes from thelemonbowl.com, hyperlink to those recipes to whatever blog or website you're finding it from. hyperlink in the menu, and then have that set, print that out, and then from that, make the grocery list. So click into those recipes, tip, click jump to recipe, then click print, and that'll be a nice formatted version that you can literally copy and paste the bullet point ingredients. Another pro tip, don't forget to adjust the serving size. So my website, you can click ×2, that'll literally double the recipe from 4 to 8. And that way you have the right amount. And then, we'll get to that later, but it's always good to make a little extra. But from that, make your grocery list. And then from there, and we'll probably get more into this plan next, but use that as a way to kind of plan out your day or the day or so leading up to it. So make a list, start with a menu, then make the grocery list. And I really recommend shopping online for those groceries if you're able to. I personally love Meijer's online shopping opportunities because it saves me a lot of time. And somehow when I'm shopping online, I get a full picture of what I'm purchasing before purchasing it versus like you go in the store and suddenly like, what just happened? I have 2 carts.
So what's the second thing on the list?
You tell us.
Chicken broth.
No, you go to your first one.
Oh, I thought
we're going to bounce around. Maybe talk about your plan. Plan your work.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I think that'll tie in nicely with lists.
So second thing to do after you make a list is to plan your work and work your plan.
Dang.
Something I learned in the restaurant business, what you want to do is make sure you work on the hardest things first. So whatever's harder for you to accomplish. So I would say any big roasts or big dishes, knock those out of the way, and then do the little things last. Why? So you're not stressing out minutes before people are coming over or when you want to serve. So, and it gives you more time to actually execute a nice juicy turkey or a tenderloin, whatever you're trying to accomplish.
That's so smart too, because whenever you're entertaining, even if it's just hosting your family for Thanksgiving dinner, when you're stressed out, it brings the whole energy of the room down. So it kind of takes the stress out of the holiday meal, which I think is important because no one wants to like feel guilty that they were sitting on the couch all day. All right, chicken broth. Chicken broth, chicken broth, chicken broth. Now, when I say chicken broth, this could be store-bought, this could be homemade. I'm sure you make chicken stock, of course, every day at the restaurant. Whatever your source of the chicken broth is, having a savory liquid like that, put it on your stove in the back burner on low and keep it there while you're preparing the meal. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to be cooking things at different times. And so, for example, when you're ready to serve, that turkey might be a little dry. Take a ladle of that warm chicken broth or stock and just drizzle it on top before you serve that. Another example, you've got some rice, maybe a wild rice salad with Brussels or cranberries. Just add a little bit of that chicken stuff to kind of moisten up the whole dish. It's also really helpful just for even like cooking Brussels sprouts on the stove. Instead of using water, chicken stock has a lot more flavor. So if you have an opportunity to swap out water with chicken stock, you're already going to make the food taste so much better than if you were just using water. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Do you guys do that like in the restaurant? I know you always have stock around.
It's always a good idea to have stock. If anything that's low sodium would be great.
Yeah.
For cooking, and it's better than just using just water.
Right, and low sodium definitely would be recommended for store-bought. That way you can control the salt content in your cooking.
Yeah, I don't know if most home cooks are making a lot of stock. But,
yeah, I know. I sometimes forget that. Yeah.
But it's easy to make. Just get some.
If you go to thelembowl.com, we'll link to it in the show notes. But I do have a homemade chicken stock recipe, and I'm sure there's many more out there.
So next thing on the list is the biggest thing I hear with home cooks or new cooks is they always complain about dishes, right? So one thing you have to learn how to do is do dishes as you go, right? And so also with planning your work and working your plan, if you're doing the biggest things first, while those things are in the oven or cooking, you can knock out all those dishes. So when you get to your little things or by the end of the night, there's very little things. It should just be just plates or forks or cups, and it will make you have a stress-free evening. So do dishes as you go, a little hack.
That's super smart. Especially because if you are in the middle of cooking something and you need a dish right then and there, it can throw your whole agenda off if it's not clean.
Yep.
Fun fact, I hate to clean. Rich does all the dishes.
Shout out to Rich.
I know, shout out to Rich. Okay, next up. Okay, you guys, 2020. It's been a ringer of a year. However, there's one perk. There's no rules anymore. rules out the window. So look, this year, if you've been wanting to make a side dish that you couldn't make before, this is your year. If you want to make a dish a little bit healthier, this is your year. If you want to make Szechuan Asian-inspired green beans instead of the casserole, this is your year. So here's the thing. A, there's no rules because it's 2020. B, you're most likely not going to be with the normal crew. So now is your opportunity to create new traditions, and that's new food traditions, which I think is super exciting because, for example, I just got past the torch to host Thanksgiving last year, and I'm literally 40, so it took me 39 years to be able to host my own Thanksgiving. And you know, there's some excitement to the fact that now if you are hosting for the first time, there's some opportunity there. Now you can really make the menu that you want to make. Now, I'm not saying you ruin, you know, Sam's dreams of sweet potatoes with whatever on top, but, you know, you can kind of maybe make it your own, maybe make homemade cream and mushroom soup as opposed to store-bought. There's ways to make things your own, but I know in my family, a lot of those traditional recipes were like locked in. You could bring extra things, but there had to be those things. So there's no rules anymore, and let's embrace that.
Yeah.
What do you guys eat on Thanksgiving? Jamaican food?
Yeah, Jamaican food primarily.
So do you ever have like the stuffing, the sweet potatoes, the traditional?
It's our versions of it, I would say. So.
Well, hey now, let's talk about that for a second. What's your version of stuffing?
Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like our version.
Yeah.
It's like hard to like. It's just not the same thing, but the same thing.
What's in it, Vince? Spill the beans. You guys, he's being tight-lipped with the recipes.
I can't get it out.
I can tell.
So, but
I don't know what's in it. He's a cook.
But it's it's damn good.
So you do make versions, but spin-offs almost.
Yeah, like I want to, like, Thanksgiving is not a thing in Jamaica.
Right.
So
do you even, like, do you celebrate it here?
Yeah, we do, but we just, it's like having a Jamaican meal.
Well, so
like a fest. It's not like.
Okay, that's just like us. We eat Syrian food.
Yeah.
But we do have Thanksgiving. We get together. But so, for example, my menu is going to have all the Syrian dishes. Grape leaves, hummus, hashwi, kibbeh, all that stuff. So you're kind of similar in that you're not necessarily making. But the one thing with us is we have to still make the American dishes because a lot of us married non-Syrians. So, like, we can't ruin, like, Michael's Thanksgiving dreams just because I want grape leaves and hashwi.
Yeah. So
But you don't have a lot of non-Jamaicans eating with you?
No, because you come to our house, you're eating our food.
Yeah. I want to come.
So
I want that invite so bad.
So going off the no rules.
Topic change. Noted.
The next thing on the list is pick your turkey, right? And so I think a lot of people get stressed out because they're trying to do like the big turkey, the 30 pounders, 40 pounders.
They're like frozen. Yeah.
Like, how do I cook it? Like
defrost those now.
Is it 2 hours? Is it an hour and a half? So I think one thing that's great if you're not going to be around a lot of people, and you can do smaller turkeys, right? And even think about half turkeys. So I would even argue if you're having a lot of side dishes, multiple meats at your household, you're feeding a family of 4, go for that half turkey. Go to your local butcher or your favorite stores and see if they're selling half turkeys. I think that'd be a great thing for 4 people, 5 people.
Is that literally they cut the turkey in half?
It's literally a half a turkey. And so that would be a great alternative.
So is this not a good year for turducken?
I don't know what that is.
I knew you wouldn't. Do you want to know what it is?
Sure.
Okay, you guys. Have any of you had a turducken? It's a turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with a hen, and like roll up and turducken.
Like they just stuff it in, each one? Yeah. Sounds good. Could be good.
Actually, it's lit. My dad got one for us when we were kids. And it's like, to your point, like it wasn't like an annual thing. So I don't know if they're like hard to come by or that was like
sounds like it.
Like a phase. But isn't that funny? So we still make jokes about the turducken.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. But low key, it sounds pretty good.
It sounds interesting. Like cutting like a big chunk of this chicken.
This is not the year to make the turducken for the
turkey.
first time for your family if you've never done it. It's complex.
You know. What's up, guys? Subscribe. Tell your best friend. Tell your mom. Tell your neighbor. Tell your 4-year-old kid. Please listen.
We appreciate you. And thank you so much for all of your 5-star reviews on Apple. That helps us get this podcast out to other people who will enjoy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And with that, enjoy the rest of the episode.
You gon' learn, you gon' learn.
All right. I had to just share that.
Yeah, so keep it simple. I would go for half turkeys or smaller birds.
Or even a turkey breast if it's two. Remember, there's a lot of people having Thanksgiving for two.
A turkey breast would be
Skin
clutch.
on, keep that moisture locked in.
Yep. So just think about smaller things and easier workload for you for yourselves.
I mean, I've seen turkey tenderloins available. You know, there's no rules, guys. Take advantage. All right. Now, on the opposite end of that, my next tip, leftovers are your friend. So sometimes it's easier to cook. I know for me, it's easier sometimes for me to cook for a larger amount of people than for two. So the benefit of that is that now that we are staying home more, it's always good to have more food on hand, especially if you've got people that are home. No one's really going into the office the next day. You're going to have people around for the weekend. And I'm a big fan of leftovers that are repurposed. So for example, I don't want to eat the same Thanksgiving dinner 5 times. So what I do is I take the turkey and I'll make it into 3 different things. So I might make it into an Asian stir fry. I might make it into Tex-Mex burrito bowls. I might, honestly, I've wrapped them into Vietnamese fresh rolls with veggies and noodles and use them with like a sweet dipping sauce. And that way, obviously there's soups, casseroles, all that jazz. But I think it's just smart to repurpose your leftovers. But I do encourage you to plan for leftovers. So honestly, my recipes are all set for 4 on the lemon bowl. Double those. You know, I think it's always good to have some extra, especially these are sturdier things like roasted Brussels with bacon. Those taste good the next day.
Sounds good.
I just think that'll say you're going to be like tired and exhausted after that day, maybe a little hungover. Who knows? So having some leftovers is always a good move.
Yeah, especially for the cooks of the house, the moms. Give yourself a 4-day break.
Right, because, you know, a lot of people would go out to dinner that weekend because they, were either sick of the food or sick of cooking. And, we're not going out to eat like we used to. So I think if you take those leftovers and make them into something new and exciting, they won't taste like leftovers.
Mm-hmm. So next tip is stovetop cooking or oven cooking. Ooh. So I do think there's a lot of ways you could, especially if you're a couple of 2 or a single guy or single girl, how to execute a nice little Thanksgiving meal for yourself. I would focus on stovetop cooking, not really oven cooking, just because you probably know how to cook with a pan and some oil. You may be intimidated by, how long do I put in the oven for? Google says this, Food Network says this, the Lemon Bowl says this. So I would say,
am I gonna get listed?
So I think a cool thing to do would be get a turkey breast or a chicken breast or any your favorite meat. Try to pan cook it in some way. Get your favorite liquor. Obviously season, salt, pepper, onions, and in that same pot you can have your gravy. So boom, that's done. And you want a sweet potato energy or vibe, you can get some sweet potatoes. A nice little hack is you can pre-boil them a little bit and then throw them in a pot and get a nice crust on them, and there you go.
You can even pre-boil those the day before to save more work.
But you don't want to cook them all the way through. You just want to
parboil.
Yeah, and then finish them off in the pot if you want that roasted potato,
that's smart,
sweet potato vibe, and whatever your favorite veggies are, and then boom, daddy, you got your little Thanksgiving turkey dinner
with a vibe. All right, next rule: acid is your friend. Now look, my entire company is built on the word lemon, but listen, there's a reason. Lemon makes everything better, and here's actually the scientific reason why. Acid balances out flavor profiles. So the reason why Mexican food and Thai food is so delicious is they've really mastered spicy, salty, sour, sweet. If you look at your Thanksgiving meal, the traditional table, it's heavy, it's fatty, it's savory, and it's got the salt, it's got the fattiness, but you need a little acid to kind of cut through that fat. And anything that's been cooking a long time, finishing it with acid is going to really enhance the flavor. So even if it's just right before you serve everything, squeeze a little quick lemon half over it. It's going to perk up Brussels sprouts. It's going to perk up turkey that's been cut up. It's going to perk up any butternut squash soup you might be serving. I can't think of anything. The other thing too is we always have a big Lebanese salad, so we can link to my family's famous Syrian salad. You guys, literally the salad, we make a bowl for 100 people and it gets devoured first because that acid of the lemon, garlic, and all that really cuts through the rest of the heavier you know what I mean? Like, it just balances out all the flavors.
I agree.
Do you guys have like an acid element to your dishes?
No, not really.
That's probably why our food tastes so good.
Not for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I would say, but like, obviously, like we'll add lemon to things. Like,
yeah.
So
it balances out. Don't you agree?
I agree with that. Especially with like heavy food.
Right.
So.
And this is again, Thanksgiving or not, that's like a really good tip. Period. End of story. So if you're making vegetable beef soup or a beef stew or pot roast, anything that's been cooking for a while, you need a little acid to cut. That's why, for example, in Mexican cooking, they top the tacos with pickled onions. That's the acid to cut through the fatty pork. Exactly. You'll see it all over like the world in different ways. So, okay. And I want to see you guys. By the way, as you're cooking, we would like you to tag us as you're using these tips at Irie.Lemon on Insta Stories. I want to see you guys doing these in action. We're not done yet, but I want to see lemon squeezing real bad.
Squeeze some lemon.
I just want to see that. All right, last but not least.
Buy your dessert.
Last? Yeah, I think we are.
Buy your dessert.
Yeah.
If you're not Miss Baker or Mr. Baker.
Yeah.
Just, go to your local store and copy that apple pie. That pumpkin pie. No one's gonna judge you. It's easy. It saves you time.
And you're not really sacrificing too much flavor by buying a store-bought pumpkin pie, for example.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I agree. Now, if your family, is not really good at the cooking part, but great at the baking part.
Yeah. Then buy the turkey and buy the stuffing.
Turkey, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally.
And then focus on the great dessert.
That's so true.
But I think I have to save so much time, especially with limited oven space. Like,
that's
I
the
have
thing.
multiple ovens in my house, but
fancy.
So but we cook a lot,
right?
So I think most people have like one. So
or of course, that is something that if someone is coming, that's an easy thing to assign out. Someone can bring the pie.
Yeah.
Or of course, you can make it the day before.
Yeah.
So that's another, if you really do love to bake, which like my husband loves to bake, so he'll do his baking the day before. But personally, like especially if you're a one-man show this year and you're doing all the cooking, because no matter way around it, whether there's 4 people or 30, it's a lot of different dishes on this day. It's not going to be like the meat, the rice, and the salad, and you're done. There's a lot going on. So buying dessert is going to just kind of take out a little bit of that stress. And like, this is not the year to be Martha Stewart. This is just not the year.
That's funny.
Just saying.
Well, guys, these are 10 tips to make your holiday easier. Anything you'd like to add, Liz?
I know. I'm like starving and hyped for Thanksgiving. I honestly feel like more prepared now because I am hosting.
So you are hosting.
I'm hosting. There's going to be my sisters and my, that's it. My family, of course.
Yeah.
Not huge, but like you, I'm used to like 30 people.
Yeah.
So it's more like cutting down. I like to make extras. So I'm still cooking really for probably 20.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of lists. But the other thing too is like there's less pressure. Because I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great time to like enjoy time with loved ones and great food.
Aww. All right, guys. Peace out.
See you in the next one.
You gon' learn this jazz too. Hey, yes, you going to learn this jazz. Ooh, I even got your girl some jazz yesterday. True.